Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Everybody, it's Tuesday night, time for another live Wicked Horror Show. I'm Kevin, and as always, well, not as always, but sometimes I'm joined by Angel. How you doing, Angel?
How you guys doing?
Pretty good. And this week we have a full house. We're joined by writer, director, cast members, and I believe cinematographers from the movie X-Night Escape from Warp Hell. First off, I'm going to go Jim. I'm not going to say your last name because I'm just going to mess them all up. So Jim. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing, sir?
Pretty good. I'm just going to go down the line here. We have you. So you're the director and writer, and you're also acting it, right?
Yes, I play Vito Montini, this gangster.
Nice. And, oops, sorry, I just interrupted you. Sorry, Austin. How you doing?
How's it going?
Pretty good. And we have Amy Lynn. What's going on? And we have Jaysen. You're the director of photography. Yeah, nice. And we have the ghost of Dolby. And then we have Natalie joined, and I'm going to. She's right there. Hi, Natalie. So yeah, there's a lot of people here. It's like it's like the Brady Bunch, but not nearly as old.
Hollywood Squares.
Yes, Jay Bullock.
I'm
so,
there.
With Jim. So Jim, this is something written by you, directed by you. You're acting in it. I know you guys had a short previously with a lot of the same cast and so forth. Do you want to give a little synopsis of the movie, or just tell people what to look for?
Sure thing. So yes, X-Night is my own original character based off my own comic book series. I have one of them here. This is volume 3. Volume 2. Our feature film is mainly based off this story, where X-Night goes to this purgatory realm known as Warp Hell. Heavily influenced from like the works of Hellraiser, Dante's Inferno, Divine Comedy, and like the Evil Dead series. So he is sent to Warp Hell and has to fight these demons. One of them being his abusive mother from childhood, Monica, and that Natalie plays. And he has to defeat these demons in order to seal the portal from connects Warp Hell to the mortal world, where all will be doomed. We made a short film back in 2019, and that was really an experiment. It was a 30-minute short. Some different actors in it, some of the same. Amy was in it as Sophia Domino, and she came back. We had a different actor play X-Night in the short film, Christopher Reinig, who did a great job, but in the feature he just wasn't feeling it, so he actually wanted to play one of the villains, which was this cannibal pirate captain, and I had to find a new lead for X-Night, which was kind of daunting at the time. It's like, oh, shit, what am I going to do? But I met Dolby through a good friend of ours, Brandon from Jerks Productions, and the rest is history. It took us about a year and a half to make this movie, the feature. We got it played at a few festivals, won a few awards. Natalie, Amy, and Dolby have each won an award for their acting in it. Our music composer, John McCoy, won an award for his score in our film, and I won a Best Director award. not to toot my own horn.
Beep beep. Yeah, it's okay.
And now our movie's on Tubi to watch.
Nice. So yeah, Tubi is the place to be. I find, well, so I've heard from independent filmmakers, and as far as like you make more money off Tubi than you do off like Amazon, stuff like that. So it's definitely cool. There's a ton of awesome stuff on Tubi, and you can get to see a bunch of like really cool independent films out there. And like we generally like will go straight horror on the show. This is more like superhero-y kind of with a mixture of horror and gore and stuff like that. So it is a change of pace, which is cool. And first off, we have PJ McCune in the chat saying what's up, y'all, and then we have Sergio saying what's up, what's going on, guys. So yeah, let's go down the I'm gonna start from the other end. You mentioned Natalie was the abusive mom. So Natalie, did you pull this from actual knowledge? Are you really an abusive mom? I'm just kidding.
I'm not, but my mother was. So
I hear you.
My mom too.
Nice. So were you in the short as well?
No.
Okay. So how did you come to be part of the project? Like is it something that you've known Jim for a long time? Have you guys ever worked together before?
Jim asked me to audition.
And that's that. So like did he know you through like acting, or like how did he know you?
I don't remember. Jim, how did you find me?
I remember we had a casting call it was for my friend Dan Davis.
Oh, right. Okay.
He wanted you to play the mom, a different mom character. And he went with someone else, another direction. So I remembered her and I was like, hey, I need someone to play X Knight's mom. So I hit her up and be like, hey, would you like to audition for this movie of mine? Yeah. And she
there you go.
She was the only actress to audition for Monica. Really, it was a one and done. I was like,
nice. So Natalie, have you acted like a long time? Is this something you've dabbled in your whole life, or is this kind of new for you?
I have my BFA in acting, and I've been doing it on and off for 25 years.
There you go. Nice. So yeah, you're not new. That's cool. But yeah, we'll get into it a little bit later. I just want to run down Dolby. Welcome back, Dolby. You were on a while back for I always mess up the name. The Jerks production. What is it? Aphasia or something like that. You're muted.
Unmute yourself.
There you go.
Oh no.
Yep.
There you are.
Oh, sick. But yeah, it was Aphasia.
Nice. And I was looking in the credits and stuff too. You also are credited for like kind of the fight choreography and stuff like that in this one too, right?
Yeah, I'm a martial arts teacher. Kind
Nice.
of coincidentally wearing my studio's shirt. And I don't know why I have this, but I have them.
Gotta stay
I've been doing
ready.
martial arts for a good chunk of my life, so it was a good way to, I guess, kind of show it off, because I don't like combat sports, but I do like martial arts as a whole.
Mhm.
So being able to actually use it in kind of a fun, not truly violent way was pretty cool. And also, I always tell people this, my main acting goal is to be a Power Ranger. So not just being able to choreograph fight scenes myself, but also being able to do them as in a costume helped learn how to do that properly.
Yeah, nice. And so yeah, Jim already explained that he met you through the Jerks production guys. So yeah, it's awesome. They share the wealth for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna keep going down the line. We have Jaysen. So you're DP on the project. How did you come to work with Jim? Is this the same deal? Have you guys worked together for a while, or?
Yeah, me and Jim went to college together, so we got a little group going on that way. But yeah, pretty much I've been working with him since then. So yeah.
Nice. There you go. Now, do you work with any other directors or anything? Is it just a you and Jim kind of deal?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of have our own group. I may do one or two things on the side from other people I know, but it's mostly for the record, me and Jim. It's like
nice. That's cool.
He keeps me busy.
Yeah, that's awesome. And Amy, did you play a junkie in the short? Were you
Yeah,
like
I did.
Okay, I remember now. I watched both the short and the full length feature are on Tubi, so you can check them out. And you can also, one of the things I like about seeing some of the older stuff is you can see progression and stuff. So yeah, talk about your character and how you came to work with the fine Jim, however you say your last name, Jim.
Cannatelli.
Hey,
Cannatelli.
nice to meet you all. Yeah, yeah. How'd you work with him?
Where do I start? So I tried out for a little film called The Scarecrow's Curse, and that was back in 2015. And ever since then, I kind of stuck around with Jim. Jim and I just became very, very close best friends. We both love horror and everything else, and like he helped me through a lot in my life and vice versa. And we collabed on like writings and stuff as well. Like I've just, I don't know, Jim and the crew just became like a part of like my family and best friends and stuff. We actually helped me get married to Christopher Reinig, who is Captain Blackhawk and also the X-Knight as well.
Okay,
So
nice.
he's my husband, which is great. But no, I've also been acting for a very long time. I've done haunt acting is like my main thing, which I've done for, oh my gosh. So I've been with one haunt for 9 years, and then that's Halloween Nights at Eastern State.
Oh, nice.
And then the first haunt I ever worked at was in Bates Motel, and I was 13. So I've been doing acting, horror stuff since I was a kid, honestly. So that's all about me.
That's awesome. That's cool.
Yeah.
I like the haunt stuff. I'm too scared to do that stuff. I'm afraid I'm going to humiliate myself. Anyways, Austin, how about yourself? How did you get into the mix?
Eastern State. I did a year at the penitentiary. I met Amy. I was in the same exhibit as her husband, Chris.
Nice.
And I think, to my knowledge, Jim was for Desco, and I think Amy kind of just recommended me, and I auditioned, and Jim liked what he saw, and we ran with it.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, that the Eastern State thing. I've only been by Eastern State Penitentiary once. I was in a blizzard. I had to go out to Pennsylvania to for something, for like a work thing, and I was like, "Hey, it's Eastern State." As like we were getting taken to the hotel, and I'm
You
like,
gotta go inside. I swear.
I really want to. I mean, I'm also like I'm a guy that I used to be part of a paranormal group, and we had we did all that stuff. So I was like, oh, that would be awesome to just spend the night in there.
Oh no!
No, I spent the night in death row in was it St. Augustine prison, the old St. Augustine prison. St. Augustine is like the oldest settled town in America, and it's like a port for pirates and all this other stuff. And me and my friend Jeff spent the night in the prison there, and I was fine. It was cool. I'm not too scared. But anyways, so Jim, how did this character I know you said you started with a comic book. How did this all come to be? Like, what triggered you to make up this character and then eventually pushing on to a short and then a feature?
So it really started when I was 10 years old is when I wanted to be a filmmaker. It was mainly Tim Burton's 2 Batman movies that he made.
Nice.
I have the tattoo on my arm.
Oh, sweet.
As a reminder. Yeah, it was really those 2. I was like, I want to be like that guy. I want to make my own gothic superhero. And as the older I got, and I went to college with Jaysen and our other 2 friends, Dan and Brett, to study film. Like, the older you get, the more mature you get, and you learn about other filmmakers. Like, looked up to John Carpenter, David Fincher, Sam Raimi, James Rolfe, and them. And so I always loved like horror films, but also mystery thrillers like Twilight Zone. So it was really a labor of love. I made a ton of short films, as Amy had mentioned earlier, in college, and I started working on developing X-Knight as a comic book first back in like 2014, and 2015 is when I first got the first single issue done, and sold at various conventions in the area, and I've been doing that since. And even X-Knight, like from the first, it's funny, like I was looking through the old comics and prep for this, and the first like few, he had a hooded cloak, but then through time, I ditched that and just gave him like a trench coat with like a pop collar, so it's sort of like a Dracula kind of look feel, which really helps. You know, I'm glad I didn't try to make the X-Men movie back then in 2015 because it probably would have been really bad.
Well, I mean, but that's the thing is you did the short and like it looks like you learned from that whole process and you know going into the movie. So and that's good. And actually, before we get too into things, Jerks Productions is in the chat saying popping by to send my love. Congrats on the flick guys. So there you go. And yeah, they're awesome too. And Life is Pain is also saying that hi everyone, this is awesome. I always forget what country he's in. It's not the U.S. though. It's like early morning for him. I think he works like overnight or something. And then Sergio's asking where Tony is. He's still dealing with house things. So that's why
Tony is up to his neck.
Yeah, in house stuff. But anyways, so being an independent filmmaker and superhero movies are kind of, there's a lot to them. Like I would think that they would be way more difficult than just a straight ahead horror movie. So that's a pretty big task to take for you guys. Now you've done some other shorts and stuff too. Do you see that this was just a larger hassle for you, or you know, for all of you? You know, like you guys have all acted in other things. How difficult was it for you guys to be in this kind of movie?
I mean, it took about like a year and a half to make total, give or take. But making the short films prior was my real film school. That really helped me with like scheduling and learning that things can go wrong like that, and you have to have a plan B. If an actor falls out or the location goes to shit, you have to sort of like also like you have to sometimes have to scale stuff down and work around your restrictions. And a lot of times you get a lot of cool creative ideas that way, which is weird. It's like, no, I want it this way, but then a blessing in disguise happens. So it was daunting, it being a feature film, and you know, he's fighting these demons, so we had to try and have Warpel look somewhat believable, even though there's a bit of a fantasy element, so that helps. But I just really took, like, when we would film each scene, I just focus on one scene at a time and kind of treat that one scene like a short film, so it made it less.
Okay, well, that's smart. Yeah. Treated each individual scene as a short film. It's a pretty good idea. Then you just have them. You can just be like, all right, this weekend we're doing this, and then next weekend we're doing something else. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yep.
Now, Amy, what about yourself as far as acting in this style of movie? Well, I know you did the short, but other like compared to some other projects and stuff, how difficult was this whole process for you?
Most of it was mainly my schedule, to be honest, because one, I was working at the Haunt for a long period of time because I'm manager and designer of the Haunt as well. And then also planning a wedding at the same time with Captain Blackhawk. And that was a little challenging, but at the same time, like, yeah, there were like bumps in the road, but at the same time, I'm like, it was more of like my way to escape from like what I was dealing with. So I kind of didn't feel it as it was like difficult. I just kind of felt it as like, okay, I'm just gonna do my art. I'm gonna hang out with my friends and just have fun. Really, I just don't see it. You know, that's just kind of how like I saw it. Yeah, there are like bumps and like it was cold or it was hot or I like, you know, hurt my leg or something. But at the same time, like, that's what filming is. Yeah. You know, just get your hands in there. You know what I mean?
Well, I say yeah, but I have zero idea. I've
yeah.
I just learned from what you guys tell me. So Austin, what about yourself as far as your acting goes? How, like, I don't know how have you done film projects before?
Yeah,
it's not me.
Stuff, but sorry, but this is actually one of the first features and probably one of the first feature roles I was part of.
Nice.
So it was definitely a learning curve, but as you know, I wore a mask the whole movie, and Jim kind of gave me the freedom, just let me go for it. So, I mean, it was fun and heck of an experience.
Yeah, nice. What about you, Dolby? I know. Well, your old hat. You've been around. You've been around the I don't know. I don't even know where I'm going with this, but
Yeah.
you've been around. And obviously, we saw you in the aphasia. If I always feel like I'm saying it wrong. We saw you in that. We know that what you can do. So how is this different as far as working with a new group of people, pretty much?
They both have a very similar vibe to them. Actually, they're Jim and Brandon. Brandon is Jerks, obviously. Both productions were pretty laid back. Both productions, if you work in film, you know that things get stressful. But when you're on set with these people, they're all very laid back, very calm people. So if things go wrong, we tend to have a laugh about it. But we still want to be professionals because we're trying to make art here.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a good weight off the shoulders to know that the people you're working with are very cool, very collected. And one thing that Brandon says, he'd rather have a friendly connection, a friendly personality on set than just a professional one. Professional with getting things done, but you still have to remember you are friends in the end. So that way, no one's trying to actually kill another person.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the things that were different with this is that with X Night, this is more suit acting, which is more, I have to talk more straight with my body. Like you can't see my face. We don't have the cool Marvel CGI Spider-Man mask that can make all these different facial expressions.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of it has to be me actually being Italian and talking with my body and literally and kind of exaggerating with that.
Yeah.
But with aphasia, that was more, no, there's no mask in that one. So just being able to have a little like more facial conversation and less body conversation, that's kind of the big difference between the two of them, at least with my performance. I always tell people my acting inspirations are Nicolas Cage, Vincent Price, and Kurt Russell. So
love it.
Yeah. When you see me performing as X Knight in the costume, I am using a fusion of Nicolas Cage and how over the top he is, but being as lighthearted and campy horror as Vincent Price.
Yeah. Vincent's the man. Yeah, he's over the top, but you know what? He's great in everything I've seen him in, so I can't complain. Those are great, people to be inspired by. Now, as far as Natalie, how about yourself? I know you said you've been acting for a long time. Was that like on film? Was that stage, or like what's your background?
Film and stage. Nice. And I also have done improv comedy for years.
Oh, that's awesome. That's cool. I'm a big fan of comedy, so I respect it quite a bit. It's another one of those things that I find extremely terrifying, to actually get up and do stuff like you guys do in front of people. I don't handle that stuff very well myself, but it is what it is. So yeah, as far as like your past projects and stuff, how would you say it was working on this project?
It was great. It was, I mean, everybody was really easy to work with. I think the thing that was the most just different for me was the eyes.
Oh yeah.
That was definitely interesting.
It was pretty cool though. It was pretty effective. Yeah.
What's that?
It was pretty cool. It was pretty effective. I don't know if any of you guys are Rick and Morty people, but all I could think of was the get out of here with your eye holes. Like there's that the whole
yeah.
I saved the Chris.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that would be different. But yeah, it was pretty effective. So that's pretty great. So Jaysen, as far as your film work and DP and cinematography and what have you, how about yourself? Like, was this any different? I know you've worked with Jim quite a bit compared to some of his other projects. Even was there any difference between this and some of his other stuff for you?
I mean, we definitely tried up on our game on this one. I switched a whole new camera setup and everything like that. We originally tried shooting in 4K actually, and we learned that was a lot of memory to take. So we knocked back off, but we tried up. I got like a new camera, some better equipment. We did a lot of more try to do a lot more moving and action. Like hopefully the differences in cameras are and like quality of video are noticeable between the short and this one.
Oh yeah,
that's
Yeah, they are.
But yeah, other than that, we we still did a lot of hot, cold days, a lot of walking around in the woods. You know, ran into a few cops, but so nothing other usual.
A lot of ticks, I'm assuming. You guys all checked.
Actually, that is the one thing I've never had. So
Found a frog though, but that was fun.
Yeah.
Frogs. Oh, and the rat. Dolby remembers the rat.
What was up with the rat? Was it just
there's a rat
hanging out?
It's there.
A Tasmanian devil rat just vibing with us in the back of the theater.
Oh yeah.
It went from one end of the alley to the other end in a complete circle.
That's weird. I would say there's probably a problem with that rat, and you kept your distance.
The cop almost killed him. We were freaking out.
Yeah. So Angel, I know, like with yourself, you're a aspiring filmmaker yourself. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, speaking of equipment, so what was this shot on?
I'm using a Blackmagic 4K Pocket.
All right.
Compared to my Canon T5i, so I mean it's a nice little upgrade.
Yeah.
No, definitely. I got Blackmagic myself.
Yeah, those things are nice, and you know, for the price too.
Yeah, I got an OG, and then the 4K, the toaster, as I call it. Yeah.
Nice. So, anything else, Angel?
No, I could tell. Like I said, you could see like from the other, but I do like the handheld stuff a lot that you guys are doing throughout the whole movie. Kept all the action going and like more immersive. It kind of felt like the camera was another character, I guess, peering into what everything was going on.
Nice. And we will play the trailer in a couple minutes. We usually try to play it around the halfway point. So that's the one thing with having so many people on, is that I've asked like 3 questions and it's already halfway through the show. One of the things that I know Sergio always asks, and I'm sure that Dolby's probably answered it in the past when he was on last time, but he always asks if you have. Sergio's asking if it's time to go now. No, it's not.
No.
So you guys, you mentioned horror. Are you all horror fans? And if so, do you have a movie that you would say is your all-time GOAT? Like, what is your favorite horror movie?
Your favorito?
Yeah.
For me, it's hard to pick one.
It is. It's almost go by subgenre almost. But.
I mean, Evil Dead 2 is definitely up there. I mean, I love the whole Evil Dead trilogy, but the second one's the one I always rewatch the most.
Yeah,
I agree.
You know,
I agree.
I'm also a sucker for the classic Universal monsters. You know, Bride of Frankenstein.
I also agree. Yeah, I'm all about that.
Like your poster back there too. That's
Thank you.
Slept on.
Yes. That's a movie that we did for our 100th episode of another podcast I do called Black and White Fright, and I hadn't seen that since I was a kid, and I didn't realize how awesome it was. Wow, I just totally did myself a disservice my whole life because I thought this was a boring movie that I saw on the Creature Double Feature back in the day. But no, it's pretty great. So leave it there for you. Jaysen, what about yourself? Do you have like a favorite horror movie?
It's obviously the X-Night franchise.
Well, sure. I mean,
I don't watch horror movies, so I just make them.
You don't watch horror movies at all?
I don't. I'm not a big horror movie guy. I watch like 1 or 2, and I'm just like, nah.
You're all set. You're like,
is it because they're too scary, or is it because you're like, I don't get it?
It's exactly because they're too scary. I'm just like, I don't fuck with this shit, you know? I'm like, fuck it. Like,
I guess we're desensitized. We watch too much.
It's easy when you make them.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That's true. Yeah, that's like heavy metal people not listening to heavy metal like music on their downtime. You know,
like classical or jazz. What about yourself, Amy? Do you have something you would call your favorite, or it probably changes? But
it changes a lot. I grew up with horror since I was like 3 or 4 because my dad's like a big like horror buff. But I will say, like the one that I just always go back to the most is actually Cabin in the Woods, because it's so different and it's just like so much in one. I just think it's just so brilliantly made. Honestly, I think it's really cool.
That's good, and it's also good, like, because most people give like an answer that of like older stuff, like even myself, but like older stuff. So it's good that like something that's not that old to be like a fan.
It's like everything in one. That's why I enjoy it the most, because it's just like every single like horror genre into one like 1.5 hour thing, and that's it. I'm gonna end it at that.
Nice. Austin, what about yourself? I'm assuming I would hope you're a horror fan, considering.
I hope I was too, but I watched a lot of movies, not a lot of horror.
Really?
But the recent ones I've seen was Candyman and Knock on the Cabin. But,
yeah.
I mean, they were pretty good.
Yeah, they were. So you're talking about the Candyman, the reboot or the yeah. Have you ever seen the original?
No, I've not.
Oh,
you gotta just check that out too, man.
Yeah.
And the Invincible Man. I watched for this for Death School character. I mean, that's a classic.
Oh
yeah. Invisible Man.
Invisible Man? Is that what you?
Yeah, with Claude Rains.
Yeah. That one. That one. Like I would always say that Frankenstein is my favorite Universal monster. Then we watched all the classic, and I'm like, wow, the Invisible Man really holds up pretty great. Like it's pretty awesome.
That search is still groundbreaking.
Oh yeah, totally for the year, especially. Yeah. Dolby, what about yourself? You're a horror guy as well. You like a lot of everything, but what would you say is your favorite horror movie?
So I'm going to cheat and straight up say my favorite movie all time, which just so happens to be a horror movie, and it's The Lost Boys.
Oh, nice.
I am obsessed with that movie. And when I say obsessed, when the first time I rented it, my father and we went to Blockbuster, and he rented me that night. He said, "I think you'll like this." And I literally, and it was that summer, so I didn't have to worry about school or anything. I literally watched it twice a day that entire week.
Nice.
And
7-day rental.
Yeah, and like it was at that point I knew for certain that it was like there was no even like guessing. My brain just went, "This is your favorite movie ever." But since it's my favorite movie, let me cheat a little bit more and say my favorite horror movie of the last 10 years is a movie called Green Room.
Oh yeah,
phenomenal film.
Yeah, Green Room it's sick. That's sick. And actually, you have someone in the chat saying that. Oops, I just made it go away. Is it just me, or does that Dolby guy look like he'd be a fantastic Green Ranger? There you go. I'm assuming you know this person. But yeah, that's great. No,
yeah, Green Room's like real life horror. Like this shit can happen.
That's why I liked it so much, is because it wasn't supernatural. It was like true human horror.
Yeah, and like doing the band thing back in the day when I was younger, like that's like we've been through seedy places and like hope we make it out of here tonight. And they give too much bullshit about gas money, just pack it up or let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about you, Natalie? Are you a horror fan in general, or is this something that not so much?
I'm with Jaysen on that one. I don't watch horror films. I am a big baby. I get too easily scared, but I did watch a lot when I was younger, and Poltergeist, Freddy, the original It.
Poltergeist still gets me. I still get freaked out of Poltergeist, and it looks nowhere near as good as it did when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Open up.
Yeah. So I mean, I remember all those, and I like Scream because there's some comedy in that, but I'm not big on the horror films. I performed in one other horror film, and I'll do them, but I'm not a big fan of watching them. My daughter's tried to force me to watch them because she's a big horror fan, and
nice.
And then she leaves me by myself, and I'm like, "Don't leave me alone."
I would like to know what creeps you guys out, because I haven't been freaked out.
I would say, just from what hearing, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I would recommend like a Midsommar or Ari Aster type horror movies. Yeah, for like non-traditional kind of horror. Yeah, it's like weird off kilter type.
I like thriller type stuff.
Yeah.
Like, edge of your seat. But like the stuff that's the scariest is what you were saying earlier, is the stuff that's like real life.
Yep. That's why I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre so much, is because it could be just some crazy people. Like it's not natural or anything. And then even
Matthew McConaughey's got the stanky leg, and you're so scared of it.
Are you guys familiar with Greek theater? That's some level of horror right there. Yeah. That's some crazy shit. Yeah. But I love Greek theater. It's about as far as I'll go.
Nice. You'd be surprised, maybe not, but there's we've had some like legendary actors on here, like people like Dee Wallace and stuff like that, and they don't really watch a lot of horror on their own, which I get. You want it to be different, but it's I mean, I get it, I guess. But that's maybe it's because that's all I do is watch horror for the most part.
Listen, you should expand your horizons, bro.
Well, I do from
Watch
time to time, but
you watch a lot of British TV too. So.
I love British television. I watch British television and horror.
Yeah.
I love certain British shows too. I mean, Monty Python, obviously, but Space, the original Space.
Oh, yeah.
What about Peep Show? You ever watch Peep Show?
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
You should.
Yeah.
It's great. That's all. And then bad British game shows. I watch a lot of that stuff too. Oh, and Payne is saying that Skinamarink was pretty underrated. It's a good horror vibe. It's very different. And we went to see it in the theater, and it was definitely an experience in the theater. We both really liked the movie. We've had Jamie Hill, who's the mom in the movie, has been in the chat room a bunch. She's been on the show before, but it's a different one. It's a different take. So maybe you guys would like it. It's something you have to be paying attention 100% as you watch it.
Yeah.
You're not going to miss much. Your eyes
turn off all the lights, quiet everything down, and just watch it. Let your mind take you, because it's like designed for that kind of deal.
It's very staticky and very noisy. You're going to think you start hearing things. You're going to think you start seeing things in the static, and you're not. Yeah. But you're going to think
it's you. It's you.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's fun.
It's our own imagination that's scaring us.
Exactly. So are you actually, before we go further, I just want to play the trailer real quick.
Roll it.
Yeah, it's only 2 minutes, 8 seconds, but we'll be right back. So X Night Escape from Warp Hell, streaming now on Tubi. And then if you scroll to the bottom, you can click on Jim's name and it'll show you where the other X Night is as well. And here's the trailer for X Night Escape from Warp Hell, and we'll be right back.
Ever since the fall of Lucifer and the unholy angels, hell has rested at the bottom. But between the mortal world and hell is a purgatory dimension known as Warp Hell. Soon, a heroic knight will meet his own demons. And all I ask of him is this: can your heart and soul survive what waits for you in a Warp Hell? X Night.
Break a leg.
Bring it, bitch. Come to mama, you naughty boy.
No one ever leaves here with their sanity intact, Paul. Just look at us.
Don't cry, baby boy. Just relax and feel my wrath.
That trailer was a lie. It's not coming soon. It's coming now. It's
right now.
Now, did you guys do any kind of physical release for this, or like a premiere or anything?
Yeah, we did a couple of live screenings, and I do have the Blu-rays on disc that I sell at conventions.
Oh, nice.
And yeah.
Cool. Oh, look at Dolby's got his mask.
I have one of them here.
And then you have the other one. Yeah, are those ones that you guys made yourself, or is it something you just altered one?
So the gentleman who made these, his name is Gus Clark, a very unsung hero. He also made the scarecrow masks for the demons in this movie that we used in our old short film, the Scarecrow's Curse.
Mhm.
But yeah, we had a total of 3 of these. Dolby has one of the stunt ones I gave him as a gift. This one was the War Pale mask, and the third one we gave to our friend Jeff, who let us screen our movie at his venue called Liquid Alchemy. Well, shout out for them. So
Nice.
part of Wilmington, Delaware, and they're very supportive of the arts. They've had Jerks Productions screen stuff there, so yeah. Sorry, the long-winded answer to your question.
That's okay. No. So that's cool. You guys have physical media that you sell at cons. You guys do cons regularly, or is it something just here and there?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I do cons. I've been doing since probably like 2015. At first, I was just selling the comic books. Now I can sell some of the movies as well.
Yeah.
And,
Do any of the cast ever join you on the cons? Because that's always exciting. It's always fun.
Unfortunately, like a lot of them are busy. When I've asked, but it's all good. Jason's come a couple of times. So
Try to make a few.
Yeah, it's all good though.
They're fun. You guys should do it sometime. It's interesting. You can get to interact with people. Like that's the thing is, Angel and I do cons a bunch, and we just do it for podcast stuff.
We forget to do cons sometimes.
Yeah. We actually were asked to go cover a con, and then I was like, "Hey, we got to get this stuff ready for this," and I'm like, "Oh, it was a month ago. Whoops."
Yeah.
So yeah, I felt really bad because the guy who owns the con was like, "You guys do whatever you want. You're in." I'm like, cool. And then we just forgot.
Yeah.
It's called good timing.
Yeah, it was like we were off by 1 weekend. It wasn't a month. That's what made it even worse.
Felt like
coming up. No, it was last weekend.
I'm sorry, just looking at the so yeah, Life is Pain saying that this looks so fun. I'll check it out. Nice.
Yeah, Tubi right now.
Yep.
Please do.
As a short and feature.
Yep. This looks fucking sick. As the same person who wants to see Dolby as a Green Ranger.
Oh yeah.
And then oh shit,
He's in.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, because Dolby had the mask on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm new. And Sergio's saying that he saw it because Sergio, for some reason, tends to get up and go to the bathroom right before I play a trailer. Then he's like, "Oh, I missed it." So
Play it again. Play it again.
No. Who are the stunt fighters? Looks sick. So,
who are the stunt fighters?
Well, actually, funny enough, Jaysen played one of the Scarecrow demons, so he did a lot of some stunt work too with Dolby.
Nice. The guy coming out of the sand.
Yeah.
All the fights between the Scarecrows and I are just literally Jaysen and I beating each other up.
That's great.
That
And
whole
I have to say this about Jaysen. He's a good sport. You're definitely a good sport with that stuff. When we were figuring it out, it was definitely a lot of rough housing. Like, obviously, neither of us got hurt, but we were having a little bit too much fun with it.
Hey, you got to sell it. One of you's got to go over the top.
I said, "You can just hit me. I trust you're gonna hold back," and then he just kicked him like,
I trust you're gonna do this, but he's not.
I'm gonna kick you down the hill now. Okay.
This is a good question. I didn't realize this. I didn't even think of this. But Life is Pain is asking if Tubi's U.S. only.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I think it is.
No, he's saying, "Damn it, Tubi is U.S. only."
Oh, okay. All right, So here's what I do: is I have a VPN, and so I'll do like Netflix from Japan or Netflix from the UK just by changing where I'm at. So that's something you can do.
Yeah.
You way around things.
Always sponsored by a VPN? Or?
Nope.
Oh.
I pay for one. And Sergio's been saying hi to Amy this whole time.
Hello, Amy.
Oh, hi.
And Hero Him Too is definitely watching this tonight. Great job, everyone involved. So yeah.
Yeah, it looks awesome. Like I said.
Yeah. So what's next for X Night? Is there going to be any more? Like you have other comics and stuff. Like, are you gonna expand on the stories?
Oh hell yeah! Yeah, I'm working on the next comic now. Actually, that will be the sequel. X Night 2: Revenge from Warpel. It's a working title. That it's a story both Dolby and I are actually co-writing together, and so I have an idea for a second and third one. I've written out an outline, so I just got to write in script format and make them.
Nice.
We're working on a new project called Yesteryears, which is a mystery thriller very Twilight Zone inspired. Dolby and Amy are in it, and Jason's our cinematographer, and a lot of other actors that are in the X-Men movie return. Yesteryear's is about a woman named Cynthia who wishes she could go back in time to her college days and date somebody different who became successful later in life, and she gets her wish through a supernatural entity that's a red light, sends her back to college. She's like, great, now life's gonna be grand. Nope, the red light keeps sending her back through various time periods, and I won't spoil the ending of where she ends up, but yeah, that's the premise of Yesteryear.
Ends up right in the middle of X Night. What?
In between Dolby's kick and Jason's
yeah. Jerks Productions is saying I have to show up. It's hilarious. Because if you listen to podcasts, it's always either that or YouTube channels. But he's saying this video brought to you by ExpressVPN and Raid Shadow Legends.
There you go.
That's a regular you see everywhere. But yeah, I don't know. VPNs are great because you can just pretend you're somewhere else and watch things in other countries that aren't available here. So it's great. Until we crack down on it, and then I'll be stuck.
I wanted to see if we could talk about the special effects and that kind of deal. Who was Helm Matt, and because I'm looking at some of the stuff and great stuff, and then like also the choices of like highlighting the reds, black and white, and all that kind of stuff, like kind of noir type of stuff.
Yeah, with the effects like what you described there, the black and white with the reds popping, the Sin City effect. It was pretty easy to do on the Final Cut Pro, just using the masking tool, and I played around with that and figured, thought it just looked cool, and plus I figured, red could represent Warpel that's sort of breaking through, and I also just love very vibrant, gothic noir imagery.
Just don't tell everyone that it's wicked easy. Don't just be like, "Oh, that was so hard."
It was so hard. It took me forever.
Dude, it's like I had
to frame every inch of the red.
You sat there, you just printed it all out on paper, and you used a highlighter. Then you stick it back in.
That's every frame of every. That's what that's like in the silent film era Lon Chaney's Phantom of the Opera during the red mask parades. So they had to color each frame.
Yeah, old movies are cool. I love old movies. You find out all these cool things. Yeah. But so as far as the other visual effects and special effects, did any of you the Haunt people? Did you guys have anything to do with those? As far as like any of the blood and gore stuff?
I did.
Sick.
And other Amy was a makeup artist, and Izzy, who also is a makeup artist from the Haunt.
Yep. I just kind of grabbed people and say, "Hey, you want to do film work? Let's go." And I just kind of grabbed them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How come everyone that comes on the show has way cooler names than me? So first off, Dolby is probably the coolest name ever. And then someone who's like legit called Izzy. I mean, it may not be their real name, but it's still cooler than Kevin. It's like that's, I don't know. I'm jealous. I'm too old to change my name.
I'm very jealous.
A kid named Kevin stopped the Wet Bandits, so I don't want to hear it.
That's
awesome.
Bandits too.
Yeah. Whenever I do something dumb at work in the Teams chat, it's always the thing from where she just yells Kevin in the airport, and I'm like, great. It's been too long. I was older when that movie came out, but so it's actually, like I said, because we have so many people, we're going to be wrapping up in like the next 10 minutes. So I want to make sure you guys have time to talk about other projects or anything else that you guys have coming out.
Yes.
So let's start with Natalie. Do you have any other projects or anything else you want people to check out? And if so, where can they check it out?
Not at the moment. I actually recently moved, so just kind of getting settled in. Probably moving back to the area eventually. So it's just kind of been a little bit of just a lot of moving parts and influx in the last year. So hopefully soon.
Yeah. Do you have any like older projects, like older like film work or anything that you're proud of that you like that people can check out?
There's a handful of things that I've done. I don't even remember. I'm trying to think of like things that I should mention.
The good problem to have is too many things to pick from. Good problem.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know. I am planning on starting an improv troupe. So
nice.
That'll be all live, but nothing, won't be filmed, but hopefully that'll be in the work eventually. I've got some prospects of people who I'm going to have in the troupe, and that's kind of my main focus aside from my other business right now.
Nice. And do you have social media presence? Is there anywhere people can go to follow you to find out what's coming up?
In my name on social media is Natalie Marioni. It's not my real last name. Marione. I'm not really that great at social media. But yeah, Instagram and Facebook. And yeah.
That's that. Cool. Dolby, what about yourself? Do you have any new projects or anything that you want people to check out?
We have aphasia coming out sometime later this year, which I'm excited for. Both X Night and aphasia started production, I think, literally at the same time. I am pretty sure I left the first day of production of X Night and then drove literally to Brandon's house that night to shoot my scene of aphasia the next morning. So literally they started right with each other. So you want a great double feature, X Night and aphasia all day, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to do that. A double feature. Yeah,
that'd be rad.
That'd be
but then outside of that, if anyone would want to check it out, I'm participating in a acting competition in October with my acting school, Barbizon. If you wanted to hit me up more about that, that'd be on my Instagram, The Amazing Dolby Fitness. Keep in mind, my social media is not serious at all. It's very intended to be funny, not professional. Okay. So if you're going there to obviously I put some actual stuff that I've done on there, but if you actually follow me or read anything that I post, it's meant to be funny because you can't take life seriously.
Yeah. Well, some people do. You should stop. Austin, what about yourself? With this being your first feature, do you have anything else in the works? Is there anything that you're either auditioning for, or have you worked on anything else?
Yeah, well, I think we finished this April 2022. So I've been acting since and getting involved in different things. I moved out to Chicago.
Oh, nice.
Doing some work out here. Just started a web series called The Dive. It's a cool casual thing we're doing.
Nice.
I'll check that out.
And is that just on YouTube?
I think if you just search The Dive in quotations, the episode 1's called The Bartender. I think it should just come up.
Nice.
Maybe I can attach a link.
Oh, yeah. If you want to shoot a link over, I'll put it in the show notes and stuff because the audio is going to go up next week. So it'll all be there for them as well. Amy, what about yourself? Do you have any other projects, or where can people follow you to find out what's going on?
Well, obviously, yesteryears, working with Jim and stuff on that, but I'm also writing my own little thing that I'm in the works in. It's very psychological, paranormal film with a few twists and stuff. So that should be done pretty soon. It's pretty short. It's a 10-page script, but it's going to be very visual and twisty and stuff. And then in September, I'm going to be doing a film with Strange Films. Me and Jim are going to be in a film called The Gifted. So check that out with Ginger Lynn actually is the star of that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Check that out, definitely. You can just kind of follow me on Facebook. It's kind of private. I don't like to put my stuff out there unless I'm confident enough to actually put it out there. So I'm kind of very self-conscious with certain things. So I just kind of keep to myself, but just follow.
Nothing wrong with that.
Whatever Jim is on here.
Some people share too much, and that's a bad thing. So it's good to stay a little private for sure.
Yeah.
Jaysen, what about yourself? I know you work with Jim all the time. You said you work with some other directors and stuff.
I mean, me and Jim got another buddy, Dan. Sometimes we do stuff. I think he's trying to do one. Still not sure exactly about it, but I know we got to use a farm. And just some every now and then somebody else comes my way, and I do. I got a lot of stuff that's like buried, or stuff that you might not see because we don't really promote it like that. But it's there if you look for it, kind of stuff like that. So
nice. All right. And before we get to Jim, I just want to point this out because I'm sensing rage in my mind. It's just going to start. But first off, Sergio asked if any of us saw Evil Dead Rise. We have. But then followed by hashtag not my evil dead. What is going on with that?
Brandon.
I loved it. I'm just saying it. I loved it. You'll have to come back on and we can argue about it for an hour.
I want to see that.
Tell me why. Tell me why.
Come on, do it. So yeah, Jim, what about yourself? You doing some other acting and stuff too, but where can people go to check out your stuff? Obviously, Tubi. Get a VPN if you're in another country and check out Tubi. I'm
on Instagram. It's under X Night Comics. So you'll type that in, you'll see the black and white X symbol or poster is the profile. On there, I post a lot of the film projects and the upcoming comics that I'm working on. Aside from yesteryears, that's my next writing, directing. I'm acting in as a small role. I'm acting in The Gifted through Strange Films. I play a villain in that. Those are fun to play. And I helped co-wrote a short horror movie called The Fiddler. That's the project that Jaysen was mentioning. We helped our friend Dan Davis and Brett Taylor from Clock Out Films. We were helping them with that, and that's pretty much it. And like I said, there's definitely gonna be X-Night sequels.
Nice. Keep us posted. I'll keep my eye open, and when that comes out, by all means, come on back. So Angel, what about yourself? Where can people go to find you? And we'll get this wrapped up.
We're here right now. But you can just hit up the page, That Strange Show. Try to put out an episode every so often. We just recorded one this weekend, and I'm putting up one on Evil Dead Rise coming out soon.
We're gonna have to send that right to Church Productions and be like, now what?
Oh, he just said he's down.
I know he said he's down. I'm just saying. I'll have it be like a classic, like school debate thing. But we'll
yes. Excuse me, sir. I believe I have the floor.
Take back my minutes, please.
I am first.
But and then hanging out here with Kevin and you guys like tonight every Tuesday that Kevin does it.
Yeah. Speaking of that, we don't have a live show next Tuesday because it's the 4th of July. And we don't want to do that to people,
hot dogs,
including our guests. Yeah. But you can find me A-Knuckle on Instagram. And besides doing this show, which is part of the Dorkening Podcast Network, I'm also part of That Strange Show, which is also on the Dorkening Podcast Network. And I'm also on Black and White Fright, which is just classic horror movies. Been going on for a while. And you have some other stuff in the works. Can't say too much. Something that I announced a while ago that kind of was put on the back burner.
Yeah, you got artwork for it and everything.
I paid for artwork, everything. But it has to do with a cast member from the movie Scream. So you mentioned Scream earlier, Natalie, and it has to do with someone from the movie. So that'll be fun if that happens. Fingers crossed. And I also have some cons coming up. I'll start talking about those when it gets a little bit closer to the. I moderate panels and stuff at some of the cons. It's kind of a tool to get me out of my comfort zone to make me not be so uncomfortable around groups of people.
You got to talk to Dave Foley doing that.
I did. I was a mess. Anyways, I was an absolute mess. That dude is perfect. Anyways, thanks for watching / listening, and we'll see you next time. And thanks, guys. And
Tubi right now. X-Night.
If you're in the UK or somewhere else, VPNs. Bye.